Hey, I just stole Derek Bieri's truck. Holy smokes. This thing goes. So technically, I didn't really steal the truck. Let's just consider it on loan right now. And I think he'll be fine with it when he figures it out. I tell you what, GM sure got it right with the 454 SS package. I love the way these trucks looked. So I totally get Derek wanting his own version of it. The aggressive badging, murdered out grille and accents with zero chrome. And the actual big block was a tad anemic. So I also totally get changing to a modern LS engine. And since it's not an actual SS truck, who cares if he changed the engine? The cowl hood is a nice touch with a little race car feel. The dark window tint actually helps since the AC is busted. And the wheels look good with everything else. The stance, not so much. Wheel and tire choice, I like it. 5-spoke design, these are Legend wheels, Cooper Cobras, sometimes known as Cooper Cobras. Look at the sidewall. It's massive. It's as thick as the freaking wheel. And as thick as the sidewall is, we've got as much room between the top of the tire, outside diameter, and the fender. It's not low enough. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, it just needs to be lower. And a little less of this. Granted, sidewall gives you a smoother ride. It's a little floaty driving it anyway, so we can do better. Sits in the road pretty okay. Need a little help with the AC. It's like more A than AC. There's no C in the AC. Oh, check it out. Bonus. Bonus. No, Derek, I don't know where they went. I don't know where those glasses went. All right. So we're driving down the road. This thing sits in the road okay, but it's typical to a mid-90s Chevrolet pickup. This is the GMT 400 platform, and it's old, it's dated. It's a body on frame, it's not a unibody, so it's got all the right stuff. Leaf-sprung rear axle, SLA front suspension, all the good parts are there. The trouble is it's just kind of wore out. I can feel it in the steering. It's okay. It's floaty. We got a hyperblink going on with the turn signal, so I got to look at the bulbs and see what's going on there. But sitting here at a stoplight up against a converter, it's a lumpity lump. I like it. It's got a cam in it. So the transmission, it's a 4L80E. It's been built, it's got a 2500-ish converter. It's got a nice firm shift point. I had an 80 in Z sled and it felt almost exactly the same as this. You can only dial in a certain amount of thump when you go from gear to gear in an 80, but trust me, this one feels stout. It feels really strong. Downshifts, oh yeah. And the exhaust sounds good. The headers into the mufflers, it sounds really good. But what bugs me is that it's floaty. It's like you're pointing it at the road and you're hoping to just kind of navigate in between the green things. But that's okay. Typically what goes wrong with these vehicles is the pitman arm more so than the other steering legs. The pitman arm has a lot of pressure on it and they just wear out. It's kind of hard to spot. So there may be some rebuilding in the works. I want to get an aftermarket suspension for this truck. I want to get something I don't know, maybe a ride tech or something like that, get it down in the weeds and crisp up the steering response and handling at the same time. All of that stuff is easy. That's just bolt-on stuff. But it's very responsive. It's got a nice rumble. And he left me a half a tank of gas, so that's good. I appreciate that. So now I can run some errands and I can go look at a couple old cars I've got staged around. And there's nothing wrong with this truck. We could just go about it getting it righter. This truck came from the factory with a 200R or 700R4. The Prindle already shows the overdrive, so that's the cool thing about the factory shifter. I don't know. It just fits. I like the old school gauges. How nice they look in that bezel. All the indicators look good. We're in good shape. Half tank of gas, 180 degrees temperature, at about 13.5 volts, 50 pounds of oil pressure. We are rocking, and this thing's warmed up. So the controller for this truck, it's actually a stock GM controller for the LS engine. I'm assuming it's a trans controller also, so we don't have to have a standalone with that. But it's just been reflashed. There's nothing wrong with that. Some guys tell me that a reflashed OEE controller is a little bit more friendly for the initial prime circuit, for throttle tip in, for idle surge issues that can sometimes happen with an aftermarket system. And that translates to what I'm feeling, which this thing feels great. It feels like it's supposed to. I've never had a problem with it starting. I've started it like 7 times, and all 7 it started good. So I call that a win. Now this is most definitely not the Vortec 350 that came in this truck. This is a bored over 5.3, now 5.7 liters. It's got the 799 heads. It's pumped up to 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. It's got the Gen 4 H-beam rods. It's been decked, bored. It's got a BTR Stage 4 cam. Trailblazer SS instake, a 92 millimeter Holley throttle body, Schoenfeld headers, and it's really strong. It's got that cammy feel to it, and there's a bunch of other stuff here under the hood. Also, we've got a cold case radiator. There's the controller for the gauges, Dakota Digital controller right there. I believe it's even got cruise control in it. So this is meant for comfort. It's going to be a nice truck. Everything's nice and clean under here. The inner fenders have been painted shiny black, so there's not much work to do under here. So now that we know what Derek's expectations are, which is basically a Z-sled type paint job, but instead we've got Z-sled with a pickup bed. I gotta remember that, that's cool. We gotta take a closer look and see what it's gonna take to get there, see what we're working with. So we're just gonna do a walk around inspection. Stuff like this here, no big deal, yeah. Bumper's a little crooked, okay. The plastic grill, that's going to deteriorate real fast. I can tell by the feel of it. It feels kind of greasy, raw plastic will. This needs paint. You can even see the color disparity right here. This is more of a gray color, so we're going to paint the grill. No big deal. Hood's in basically good shape. Panel gaps, not so much. Okay, we'll gap the truck. It's an aftermarket hood. Sometimes things aren't perfect. Right here. Doesn't really match right there. Okay, so I'm starting to see a couple of things. There's a dent right there, a little bit of ripple right there. Pretty okay. I think the mirrors, they might be raw plastic too, so we gotta spray them. Everything's okay. Panel gaps are good here. pop knot there, pop knot there. Ripple there. These door handles take a lot of heat. It's caved in there. The reason is because people close these doors like this. It's just sheet metal. It's just GM sheet metal, and it doesn't hold up well to that constant pressure. There's a pop knot there. There's some little schnickety stuff in there. We've got some ripples in there. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. Super, super happy with how rust-free it is. There's no garbage up in here. I don't even have to look at this. I can feel this with my fingertips, and I'm feeling sharp edges. There's no corrosion. Oh, cow pasture. So under here is good. We've got some blocking to do here and there. I hate that we're going to have to get rid of the Super Sport letters, but we can get another sticker. Personally, I kind of like the look of a smoked taillight. Stock taillights, they look good to me, but we might do a little bit of voodoo magic with some candy paint on the taillights. This bumper is terrible. This bumper is terrible. It looks like a big... It's probably the right bumper. It's probably an SS454 bumper with just the pads. I don't want to beat up on it, but I think a roll pan looks much nicer. We did SS454 on trucks a few years ago, and I think we put a roll pan on it. It looks really good. So anyway, food for thought with there. Oh my. Okay. Got some work to do here. I'm just gonna shut that for now. Now the outside of the tailgate looks really good. It's nice and flat, except for there's a weirdness right here. It's a split in the paint, and I don't know where it starts. I'm a little worried about that right there. See? I'm worried about that right there. Okay, what am I looking at here? I'm seeing, and part of this that I'm pointing out is just the way these trucks are stamped. This is a very complex panel. It's a complex stamping. There's style lines here. It rolls under here. The wheel arch is stamped. It crowns, it curves, and these trucks were never flat and never perfect from the factory. So we're up against it there. Z-Sled, flat sides. I could cross block the panels and do a bunch of poly, but big style line in the middle, it helped me with that. This is way more of a complex shape on this vehicle. This is not part of the factory plan right here, though. This is a kind of a caved in spot right here. Let's just call that. I'm going to put the sad face there, and we got to fix that guy. All right. Right here, a couple more ripples. This is all okay. So whoever painted it, they did a good job. The stainless heads, I like that. That's cool. They got the button. They didn't just scuff and hope. They did it right. A couple ways. A little bit of a dent there. What am I looking at on this door? Oh, another pop knot there. Another pop knot there. I'm seeing a bit of a weirdness right there. Oh, and right here, there's some scuffs underneath. It looks like there was a pair of vent shades on here, and that glue bites so hard into the paint. Sometimes it's hard to get off. Maybe they scraped it off. Maybe they didn't feather edge all of the little chips out. So I have to address that. There's some more right there. I have to, especially right here. Oh, another dent. This is the most visual or visually, what are my words? Find your words, Kevin. Use your words. This is the most looked at part of the whole vehicle. And between this and the hood, those are the two most visible panels. It's got to be right. It's got to be super flat. It's got to be reflective. I've got to walk up on it and be able to do the happy dance and see a perfect reflection in there. So we've got to address these little places. Some of them aren't little. This one is not little. We've got a big dent here. Do I need a fender? Okay, so this is the blessing and the curse of black. Black looks so nice when it's painted. And this truck looks nice. You get a little distance on it. This thing is bad to the bone. It looks really good. But it shows you everything. Black is a mirror, any color really, but black is a mirror to what's underneath it. And there's just some reshaping that we're going to have to do. Just how it is, folks. It's just how it is. We want Z sled with a pickup bed. We're going to have to earn it. We'll walk you through it too. So before I know that I can trust this paint job, I've got to get down and look at some of the layers. This is fairly recent paint, so I should be able to tell whether or not it was properly prepped underneath. There's nothing wrong with putting a paint job over an existing paint job if you can trust what's underneath it. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to buzz down a few layers, see how many layers there are, and see what kind of adhesion we have between coats. So here we go. Okay, this makes me feel so much better. We've got metal. Okay, there's the factory E-coat. It's a factory two-stage finish, color, clear, because it sands off white. Now we've got a sealer over top of the original. Look at the feathered edge. I don't feel anything. It's sealed. I don't see any shiny ring around there. And then we've got the color and the clear. So it's one paint job over top of the original, and I can live with that. I think we're good to go right on top of what's there. A little area right here that I was worried about. See, I was worried. I made myself a note. See what's under that. Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to touch it with my bare hands. What don't you see? You don't see any red on there. So this is either a brand new tailgate or it was a black tailgate. My guess is that it's not a brand new tailgate, because right here, you see the difference in the color there? We got a gray metal and then a lighter metal and then a sealer. I'm going to guess that that's an OE galvanized panel. By the look of it, it looks like an original panel right here. I'm not being able to dig anything off of there. I think I'm just going to say that was a product of bad prep, and now that that's fixed, I can seal that, prime it, block it out, and I think we'll be good. So, what are the goals here? Obviously, we want a nice paint job on it. I want to give Derek a paint job that I'm proud of and that he absolutely loves. I'll never forget the reaction that he had the first time he saw Zed Sled. He just wanted to dive into that paint. So I want to do that for him. We got to get this thing off of the factory suspended stilts that it's on. It is absolutely not cool. We need to get this thing down in the weeds, and I think I've got a plan for that. I love a 5-spoke wheel and tire combination. I even love raised white letters, but we could do a little bit different with this. So I've got some ideas there too. There may be a wheel and tire swap in the works. I don't know. The inside, I think in 1994, it was really cool and was awesome. And now it's not. The seat foam is wore out. The carpet is dirty and it smells, and nothing matches. None of the colors match. So I don't know what's going to happen with the interior, but it sure needs a lift. So there we have it. I think we can take this truck from an already pretty cool standing point and create this awesome street machine. And that's my goal with this. So I've coined the phrase Zed Sled with a pickup bed.